too much of anything, cluttered space to me equates to cluttered mind. And so when you can free yourself of things, then you can focus on the other things in your life that are more important, that will generally be people versus things and objects.
DMH Way presents. Chat GCG, a DMH Way podcast. All right, so welcome to Chat GCG, genuine conversations on growth, contributions, and goals. At Chat GCG, our goal is to introduce you to the authentically intelligent heroes of DMH employment. I'm Daishan Knox, supervisory specialist.
I'm Rod Cowan, DMH Way facilitator.
All right, and today we will be interviewing Michael McFarlane, CEO of Hawthorne Children's Psychiatric Hospital. Hawthorne Children's Psychiatric Hospital, if I can say that right. All right. So Michael, we are here in the heat of the summer. We came off of a hard winter, and just like we like to get the air conditioning going in our car, before we jump into it, we want to get you warmed up before we dive into the deep questions. So we're going to start out with something that we like to call the chit chat.
Okay.
And those are some simple questions. So if you'll tell your audience, which I kind of mentioned it, but you can go into a little more detail, where you work, what you do, how long you've been with DMH, and what would you say is your guilty pleasure drink of choice, HR appropriate, of course.
I work at Hawthorne Children's Psychiatric Hospital in Pagedale, Missouri. What do? I'm responsible for general oversight of the facility, the operations day to day, working with facility leadership and managers on interdisciplinary treatment efforts. And most of these efforts involve resource allocation and stewardship of state dollars. So,
yeah. Okay.
I've been with the department 14 and a half years.
Nice.
And my guilty pleasure would have to be Diet Sunkist Zero Sugar.
Okay. Diet Sunkist Zero Sugar. Okay.
I like orange soda. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me you remember Keenan and Kel from back in the day.
Yeah, I think I was a little old for Keenan and Kel by the time they came out. But
okay.
Yeah.
Kel loves orange soda. So, all right. So now that we've got you warmed up, thanks for sharing that with you. I'm gonna pass you over to Rod, and Rod is gonna take you into our first set of GCG questions.
Yep, getting a little deep. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready to go.
Okay. So what would you say has been the biggest point of growth in your career with DMH?
I would say when I was promoted from being a human resources workplace investigator in June of 2016 to being the HR director for the Eastern Region Division of Behavioral Health. It's very challenging to go from being a personal producer and responsible for your own work product to overseeing an entire department and deliverables that other people are responsible for.
Yeah.
Making sure that people communicate effectively and meet deadlines and what have you. And also I had the challenge of supervising people that were former peers and now them becoming direct reports. So I would say that was definitely a growth opportunity for me.
It's also a sign of good leadership in those boundaries, being able to go from working side by side, though, to leading people and having that respect and that leader. That's pretty awesome.
Right. People say manage tasks, but lead people, and you don't get things accomplished through directives and email as much as building relationships. So thankfully, because we were peers, I was able to lean on a lot of those relationships and asking people to best serve our employees.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Solid wisdom too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So when thinking about the skill of the month, right? How would you say the DMH Way and the skill of the month has supported your growth?
It's a very good question. I think it really makes you be intentional about planning your time in advance and your time management. One thing that's very important, as you know, Daishan, from when we were investigators and having to meet certain deadlines. So, for example, there are things that you do because it's your responsibility based on your role, in my case as the CEO, that only I can do. There are things that sometimes you have to defer because there's a greater priority, such as a patient safety issue or something that's being requested by the legislature and has a definitive timeline, and they need that now. So you have to be able to prioritize what's emergent and, for what you have to be responsive in a very timely manner. There's things that you delegate that you may want to do because you may be particular, if you may, about how it's done, but because of those time management responsibilities, you just know that you're not going to have time to do it. So you lean on your leadership team to assist you. You provide clear instructions as much as possible. You make sure that your door is open for them to ask questions. And you ask them to give you updates. And then, I'm sorry, the fourth D, I'm blanking on. Delete. Yes.
Yep.
You have to sometimes delete stuff because same reason, it's not a patient safety issue. It's not mission critical. And, you always have to ask yourself, is this particular thing that I'm going to give time to supporting the mission and vision of the hospital? And is it something that I can probably push into another fiscal year for a later time? So,
Yeah.
Wow. So then thinking about your current role, right? What's the next area of growth you're looking to see immediately?
that is a very difficult question to answer because I don't believe. No, it's not that I don't believe. I really anticipate immediate growth in any area. I look at organizational growth. I know that's going to take time and a lot of input, a lot of listening, and a lot of consideration of other people's needs and priorities. So for me, growth is incremental. You have to obtain buy-in gradually over time. Anything as far as immediate would probably have to be stuff that I expect of myself, particularly as it comes to, say, better organization and planning for meetings that I facilitate, and then actually going ahead and facilitating those meetings. In truth, I struggle a lot with facilitating meetings because despite this interview, I sometimes get sick of the sound of my own voice. But you have to, because you have to provide leadership and there are things that the organization needs to discuss. So I think that's probably my more immediate growth area in the near future.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Here in DMH, what you're talking about, we always talk about it's a process, not an event. So you're
Exactly.
talking about growth over time.
Exactly.
That's excellent. Yeah.
Well, Michael, I'm going to talk to you about contributions.
Okay.
And before I ask you the contribution question, I'm going to make you uncomfortable a little bit because you're a humble guy. I've known that about you. And whether you can believe it or accept it or not, you have been a living legend. So both of us started in investigations. You preceded me. And when I came to the investigations unit, they compared me to you. They're like, hey, there was this guy who used to work here, Michael McFarlane. Like, you would love him. You guys have a similar sense of humor. You know, he was great. And so I knew of you in, I guess, in folklore, you know, the myth, the legend of Michael McFarlane. And it wasn't until, so that was 2013 when I was an investigator. I think I ended up meeting you closer to like 3 or 4 years later.
Okay.
When we both went to that Engage training in Jeff City.
Right.
So that was my first time meeting you. And all the talk about you was true, because when people said, you know, Michael's great, Michael's this, Michael's that, I'm like, yeah. I'm a fan of Michael McFarlane.
I appreciate that.
And I feel
That's
like
very
even
kind of you.
though our career started in a similar place, you know, you are now a CEO of one of our DMH organizations, and you made history because you are one of the first men we have interviewed. So kudos to you on that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So that being the case, you know, which the chat GCG thing kind of pales in comparison to CEO, what would you say is your proudest contribution to DMH?
Working with some very committed facility leaders at Hawthorne to recalibrate the sanctuary model, really make sure that we're being sincere about our commitments to creating an environment that's trauma-informed and supporting our consumers in treatment and recovery, but also governing how we communicate with each other and support each other as team members. It's been gratifying to watch both me and my team members check in on each other at the beginning of meetings with what we call community meeting check-in, ask people about their goals, ask how they're feeling, who are they going to lean on for support. And so that has strengthened the safety planning that we do here at Hawthorne, and also reminded team members of the importance of their own self-care, and that although our consumers are definitely the priority for us as a healthcare organization, the people providing those services that we work alongside are equally important to us, particularly as facility leaders and management.
Yeah. I love so that the check-in conversation, what do you guys call that through Sanctuary?
Community meeting check-in.
Okay.
How do you feel?
Yeah.
What's your goal? And who will you go to for support if needed? Those are the three questions that we ask.
I love that because a couple months ago, you and I had a one-on-one, and I didn't see it coming, because I'm not a Hawthorne employee.
Sure.
And so I don't know if I told you this, right, Michael. He hit me with, I don't know if it was all of those questions, but when you asked it, I was caught off guard because I didn't expect it, and you meant it. And so I'm just like, whew. And so I started pouring my heart out to you, and it's like, I guess I wasn't checking in with myself. So
Right.
that meant a lot for me to hear that. So I know your staff probably, when they have those conversations and they feel you checking in,
Right.
when their supervisor is checking in, I'm sure that is making a difference in the culture you guys have here at Hawthorne.
Definitely. It's, you manage tasks, but you lead people. And until people know that you care, they don't care what you know. They don't care how well you can do an Excel spreadsheet or how well you can prepare a Word document. And it's so easy to lose yourself in the things that you have to manage in providing services to other people, which, is a priority for all of us. And not just the consumers, but also team members, people within our own departments. But it's critical that you do that internal dialoguing with yourself to have a sense of where am I today, because your emotions and your cognitions do affect your work product for the day, whatever those tasks you might be working on.
Absolutely. That's good. That's good.
So you've used the term goal a lot, right? It's kind of a thing, goals. And so thinking about goals, I think about the term CANI, stands for constant and never-ending improvement.
Yeah.
So when we think about goals, I'm going to ask you, get a little bit deep here and think about what's one professional and what's one personal goal you have for 2025.
Definitely to get our employee wellness Cottage A, up and running and accessible for staff, to reduce burnout and to show appreciation, and so that people have a decent area to decompress, relax, replenish their emotions, but also feel appreciated for the type of work that we do, because it's 24/7. We ask people to show up during snowstorms. We ask people to show up during 107-degree weather.
Yeah.
And if you don't take care of the people working in your organization, then you don't have those internal resources to accomplish tasks and objectives that are critical to the mission and the vision. Take care of your team members, and your team members will take care of your facility and your organization.
Yeah. That's huge. That's huge. I think about that, and I know this is your part, Rob, but we recently had those tornadoes that came through. Did you guys have folks that were impacted by any of that?
Tangentially, we had a handful of folks that really experienced significant loss, but nothing like people living in other areas of the city.
Yeah.
So we were very fortunate that that tornado did not affect as many people working as part of the Hawthorne community as some other DMH facilities.
Yeah. But even those who were on staff that day probably had to shelter in place with the consumers here. And
yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of us on the administration side of the building were in the hallway listening to these reports. As a matter of fact, I remember being in the hallway and hearing the hail hitting the roof, and it sounded like boulders were
Yeah.
falling. And just thinking about, well, if it's like this here, what is it like in other areas of the city and the county? And then on the drive home, I was able to see firsthand how devastating it was for a lot of people that lost their physical property, but thankfully not their lives.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you're very selfless, because as we're talking, you're talking about how other people grow and how you can help them grow and how you can help them succeed. So I'm not going to let you get away with talking about a personal goal
Oh, yeah.
that you have.
Definitely. Okay, thank you for keeping me on task. Decluttering my home and also my life of a lot of stuff. I've even started taking stuff out of my office, not because I don't like the items in my office. I spend a good deal of time here, and I believe in people personalizing their workspaces. But I also believe the physical environment is a reflection of the mental and emotional environment. So too much of anything, cluttered space to me equates to cluttered mind. And so when you can free yourself of things, then you can focus on the other things in your life that are more important, that will generally be people versus things and objects.
Yeah, yeah. So you're dipping into one of our other skills down the line, the 5 S's. You know, sorting
That's what I was
and
thinking.
shining up and getting everything where you can sustain an orderly environment.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that because I have no idea what the 5 S's are. You saw from this interview, I forgot the 4th D, but you know,
Right.
I'm looking forward to that because, yeah, we deal with a lot of complexity in behavioral health management. So why not simplify the things that we actually have a locus of control over, like our physical environments, including at home?
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
So thinking about, we've talked about Skill of the Month, 5 S's will be coming up, right? A little teaser there. But what goals do you have for Skill of the Month for 2025?
Wow. I would like to use the 4 Ds of time management to help me negotiate some facility projects that we're going to be working on with OAFMDC. That involves roof replacement. We're doing some HVAC work in our cottages, some fire panel upgrades. So definitely figuring out how we're going to maintain daily operations while sometimes asking our consumers to relocate, so that the work can be done and for safety considerations and what have you.
Yeah, that's huge.
And so continuing on with goals, I'm hammering goals. Thinking about goals, what goals do you have for the DMH way at your facility for this year?
Definitely continuing to use the de-escalation process as we're trained on it, and also planning difficult conversations because I see it firsthand that some managers will try everything in the book to avoid a difficult conversation, hoping that the situation will improve. And I always coach people that, a goal without a plan is a wish. And so in planning difficult conversations, you're being intentional about addressing the elephant in the room and the thing that's creating discomfort. And the only way to make the uncomfortable more comfortable is to address it. To avoid it just continues to increase your own internal anxiety and the sense of awkwardness in the person that is part of that difficult conversation. So at least make the attempt for resolution of conflict or the unsaid. And if you're unsuccessful, then just try something else. But the worst thing you can do as a manager or leader is avoid it, because it's not going to go away.
Yeah. I love how you say that, because sometimes we don't realize how much real estate we give to tension, frustration, animosity, conversations that can be had, and then it bubbles over in, now I have these passive aggressive interactions with you. Now I'm blowing up at you because I haven't had the conversation I should have had in the first place.
Or not even blowing up at you. Now I'm totally freezing you out and being very cold and distant. And well, okay, so you're not saying anything because you don't want it to go sideways and become a conflict or a verbal disagreement. But is the tension any less? Is the awkwardness or anxiety that you're experiencing internally any less? No, the answer is no. Well, I don't want to be awkward and anxious and tense. I'd rather just work through it.
Yeah, that's good.
Rather than work around it.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So, Michael, we are almost done for the day. But before we let you go, we want to dive into the Show Me State lightning round. And that's our opportunity to get into a little bit of healthy division. Now, we're not going to talk politics. We're not going to talk any of that stuff that makes people get on their chat boards and turn into keyboard warriors. But
Okay.
we're going to talk some stuff that's going to put a smile on the face. Maybe you might disagree with me. Maybe you disagree with Rod. We'll see. So your first answer is your best answer. You
Okay.
think long, you think wrong. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. So if you had to choose between Jack Stack Barbecue and Emo's Pizza, what's it going to be?
Jack Stack Barbecue.
Yes. Yes.
I can't stand Provel cheese.
Yes.
Oh, all right.
I'm telling you, I'm a Chicago man, so
I'm from New York.
Oh,
no
that's
no
right.
such
I
entity
forgot.
exists in New York.
Yes, it's an abomination.
It's like having liquid taffy stuck to the roof of your mouth. That's what it
there
feels
it is.
like.
It's
Long
okay.
to you, right? It's all right.
Yeah.
It's okay.
All right. So in terms of recreation, St. Louis Zoo or the Kansas City Aquarium?
Kansas City Aquarium. Not much of an outdoors guy. Hate the heat. Love AC.
Okay.
And actually, I do like aquatic life and, the color blue. My minivan's blue and stuff. And my suit is blue
Yeah.
today. what
Yeah,
have
yeah.
you, so.
And we matched you because we got the memo.
Very soothing.
right.
It's very soothing.
Yeah. Okay. Vacation-wise, are you going to Branson or the Lake of the Ozarks?
Probably Lake of the Ozarks. Opportunities to connect to nature within the shade because
Yeah.
really one for the sun. But also be close to water. And also Branson just feels very touristy to me.
It does.
I mentioned I'm from New York, but
Yeah.
you would almost never see me in Times Square. It's just not my thing.
Would you ride a jet ski?
I used to own a wave runner, as a matter of fact. and
Okay.
Then my wife made me sell it, and so I don't own it anymore. But I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. When we're talking baseball, Cardinals or Royals?
Cardinals,
Okay. Now are you still a Yankees fan?
absolutely.
Okay.
Just like, no doubt.
Absolutely.
I had to ask since you're a New Yorker.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have Yankees. The interior of my car is adorned with Yankees stuff for your car that I ordered off Amazon. So that'll be, for the remainder of my life for sure.
So if it's the Yankees versus the Cardinals,
Yankees all day.
yeah, no question. All right. At lunchtime, Panera or McAllister's?
McAllister's.
Why is that?
I'm not really okay, McAllister's is also a franchise. I've never really been that enthused with Panera's offerings. And McAllister's gives me the feel of like going into a New York deli in Manhattan or downtown.
Yeah.
Just has more of the, deli experience that I've become accustomed to and I enjoy. So
That's cool.
Yeah.
that's all.
Yeah, I hear you. Panera's it's a little too bougie for me. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. All right. When we're talking literature, Mark Twain or T.S. Eliot?
Easily Mark Twain, really sharp guy with a fantastic sense of humor.
Okay.
A lot of his sarcasm and jokes you have to read twice to really appreciate. Well, I see what he did there. So really sharp and independent of his writing, just his sense of like they have that Mark Twain prize for people who are professional comedians because he
Right.
was really that funny, and I enjoy that.
You might make me go back and reread now. Okay. All right. Now, last but not least, if we're talking Floridian vacation,
Yes.
Disney or Universal Studios?
Universal Studios. I'm a movie guy,
Okay.
so definitely Universal. And Disney has some stuff that's a little saccharine for me that I just. It's like it's a little too much.
It's a small world. Is not your thing.
No, not at all. Teacup ride is not my thing, and this whole emphasis on Disney princesses and stuff. I good for you.
Yeah.
I I don't know where to go with it though.
No,
So,
I hear you. I hear you. They're trying to turn the corner though. They're like the princesses now can save themselves. They don't need the knight in shining armor. So
right.
But Universal does have the new additions to their theme park. You know, they have Mario World, and they
Right.
have the Universal, what is it, Universe now too, which looks
Okay.
pretty cool.
I hadn't heard of that. I have to look
Yeah.
that up.
Yeah, that's more my speed, video games. And then,
Mm-hmm.
of course, like Universal makes me think of, E.T.,
Oh,
Extraterrestrial, one of my favorite childhood movies. So
Mm-hmm.
just being a movie buff, I think it's better alignment for me,
Nice,
cool.
nice.
as opposed to the Disney movies.
Right.
Yeah. When you got little kids, it's like you're forced to, but then once they grow up, you're like, all right, let's throw on something else.
Right. Yeah.
Cool. Well, Michael, thank you so much for joining us on Chat GCG today.
Thank you for the invitation. I
yeah,
appreciate it. And I
absolutely.
appreciate sitting down and talking with both of you.
Yes, sir. Well, thanks, and keep doing the great things you're doing here at Hawthorne.
I will try. I will do my best and make my best attempt.
All right. Well, we'll catch you guys on the next episode. See you next time. Chat GCG, a DMH Way podcast. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Scan the QR code for the DMH Way website.